do you want to start the recording?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
perfect. All right, so hello everyone, and I am very happy to be here today. My name is Janan Darwish. I am a professor in the computer science department at Santa Monica College. I've been teaching here for the past 20 years. I mostly teach programming, and I think game development is one of those areas that we would like to get into. We potentially might have courses in that area soon. Today, the Game Developers Unite Club is going to showcase some of the games that they've developed in the past and some of their activities. I am very pleased to announce I have a lot of pop-ups showing from other events happening. I am very happy to present Bartu Mutlu, who is the club president. And we have Eunice Daniels. She is the club secretary. She will actually be joining us once she's done with her work, so she will join us around 4:30. So before I turn it over to Bartu, I just wanted to give a few words about the game development world. Game development involves two aspects. The first aspect involves mostly design and drawing, and kind of like storytelling. So that's the design of the game itself. And then the other part, which is mostly computer science and programming, involves the programming portion. There are tools out there that allow you to quickly choose the graphics, so the design is made easy. And all you have to do is just write what we call the back-end programming. Unity is one tool that is provided by Microsoft. And I believe last year, the Game Developers Unite Club used Unity in their development of the games that they did. So with that said, I welcome you all to the GDU Club. And I look forward to working with Bartu and Eunice and all of you to join the club and be active. I think this is a great area of computer science that allows students not only to gain experience and enjoy and have fun developing games, but it also prepares you to enter the industrial world of game development. Because that world, believe it or not, is one area of computer science where they're not really looking for someone who has a PhD or a master's degree, or even maybe a bachelor's degree in computer science. They're looking for someone who's talented, who can showcase, their games. So it might be an area that is well suited for our students. So with that, I give it to Bartu. I will be monitoring the discussion and bring to his attention if there are any questions. Otherwise, maybe I should turn my camera off so that you have the spotlight, Bartu. What do you think?
It added where you would like to, Professor.
Okay, so I'll just go off camera for a short while until you kind of like come near the end of your presentation and then come back. All right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Take it.
All right. So hello everyone. I'm Bartu, and as the professor said, I'm the president of the Game Devs Unite. So before I begin, I would like to say that it is an absolutely honor to see each and every one of you. So I would like to talk briefly about what this club is, and what we are going to do, and what our future plans are. And after that, I'm going to talk briefly about what the game design is, because in most part, the game design is more than just drawing the characters and implementing the game, basically. So in our club, we mostly divided ourselves into 3 or 4 groups, depending on how many people we have. and we design the games using the Unity. We will also try to provide some workshops or hopefully some kind of a showcases where we can learn this prospect of the Unity and like uh, Unity, because the Unity we would choose the Unity because it is a very user friendly, and someone who has little to no experience, it is a very like comfortable usage, comfortable, and it it is comfortable and easy to use. And hope okay,
So
hopefully.
I came, sorry, because someone has a question. Maya C. She says, would you accept people who are artists, not necessarily programmers, into the club?
Of course, I mean, this isn't just about the game developing or like programming the game itself. It is actually more than just coding or developing, in which I will talk about it in my slides actually. But of course, we will accept artists and or also the designers for in our club. So yeah, without further ado, I will talk about the design, like how the game designing works. So let me just open my, let me just share my screen with you.
Okay, and I'll go off camera then.
Okay. All right. Okay, so small introduction to game designing. So the concept of the game designing, we have like when you design a game, you have to think about like these concepts very much because this is the what constitutes a game or a video game basically. So we have designing the environments, which means like designing the level itself or the atmosphere that you are being placed in. Designing the story, which is very important for a video game, is basically the stuff that happens behind the game or the basically the narration that you try to convey it, you try to show the player. The designing the characters is more than just like drawing the character itself, and you need to add more personality, or you need to decide uh, what the role does this character play in the game, and the game mechanics in which even though it ties with the developers or the coders itself, it is also the important mechanic. So the designing the environment is basically the level. You need when you design a level, you need to consider the atmosphere. Is it going to be set in a spooky setting, or kind of a futuristic? This is something that you need to like try to convey, and depending on this atmosphere, you need to design or your level basically. And one thing to notice is that like it has to be kind of suiting. When you design the level, it has to be a suiting setup, basically. So and if it is futuristic, you can kind of expect to have some kind of a city atmosphere or some kind of a like futuristic add into it. When I mean, it has to be when you design the background or the place that is set in, it has to match the theme that you decide to do, basically. And the obstacles, which is very very important because it makes a distinction on game being enjoyable to too hard, basically. So that's one thing that you also need to be careful of. And like the object placement is basically in which place this object or this character would be much suitable. So that this is the type of things that you might need to consider when you design your environments. And designing the story is basically this has two elements to it. Basically, you might want your game to tell a story or maybe give you a kind of a message. And when you need to kind of devise a plot which can define the story a little bit better. It's like a movie. Like when there is sometimes when you kind of do some kind of an errand, someone can like someone who unexpectedly can betray you, or maybe is something unexpected can happen. And you need to devise those as well when you design this story so that it can be very effective for the players to enjoy it. And the designing the characters are like I said, it has to be more depth to just drawing the characters by themselves. And when you design a character, it has to be a purpose or any kind of role to it. Like you need to kind of decide if this character will be play an important part in this story, or it has to be it is not it is kind of a side NPC basically. Like and you also need to kind of describe their personality, or what type of skills does this guy have, or you also need to decide the background of the character. Sometimes it can be tie into the story, and it and in an unexpected way, it can be like an effective. It can be an effective, or that character can play an important role later on the game. So this type of stuff, that is something that you need to like understand a little bit more. Or yep. And for the game mechanics is basically what this game is, how you play the game. And I will say, for example, if you're making an RPG type of game, you kind of want your game to be or like the level design to be more third bird eye view, or so at some places you also need to see how the character is accomplishing certain objectives. So basically those are the uh, stuff that constitutes the game designing.
And Bartu, at this point, there's another question. Are there any prerequisites or certain skills that one needs in order to join the club?
There is not. I mean, this is the reason we're also going to employ some of the workshops, because not everyone is like extremely skilled in this game designing. So what I was kind of thinking is to give like small workshops or events where we will be teaching people how to design in the engines that we're going to use.
Perfect.
And basically we will also like maybe call like maybe we can also showcase some of the games and how we can design how these designs work basically.
Okay.
And also I would like to say something. We will also we were going to use Unity a lot, but at the same time we can also maybe if you're familiar with another game engine like Game Maker or Unreal Engine, maybe we can try to test those out as well. So we mostly use the Unity because, like I said, it is very user friendly, and this is the it is
And I believe Unity is free,
very user
right?
friendly.
You don't have to pay.
Unity is also
Yeah,
free.
so that's a good point.
Yeah, the other engines I believe have also a certain free versions as well. But as far as I know, if you want to do like if you want to publish it or do something with it, it has some kind of
Yes,
limitations. I believe Unity also has some kind of
exactly.
limitation
Yeah,
as
you
well.
cannot make money out of the products you develop of these free tools.
As Yes, that's one thing, and in fact, the I believe Unity also limits on how much money you can make too. So it is very interesting. So yeah, this is the roughly the how the game designing works. So and now I will talk like a little bit more about what we are also going to do. So in the last few years, we're trying to make games, and sometimes we also publish the or we sometimes showcase these games in a game jam, or these are type of events where people from around the world, or like in yeah, people from around the world try to see this try to experience the games that other communities do. So one of the jams that we were trying to get in is the Indicade, and in as far as I know, because I wasn't in the club during the time it those were we participated in. We You can get a certain type of awards, and the yeah, and maybe the scholarships and doing this. One of the good thing about these events is that it actually helps you with the extra curriculum, and you're going to uh, transfer to another university. So this is a perfect experience or perfect opportunity to basically get your extracurriculum a little bit filled up, basically. Um, so yeah, um, Professor, uh, is I would
Yes.
is there anything you would also add on?
Yes. The competitions, I believe that the club last year joined a competition, and I think they came something like second or third. I mean, it was very honorable, given that the club was only started last fall. That was their first year, and so I think coming in at that spot was great, fantastic. Um, and as Bartu was mentioning, joining these competitions is really the way that the industry will judge you as a game developer. So, it's not about getting an A in a class. It's about what competitions have you joined? What is your portfolio? Show us your portfolio. And I think, joining this club is a perfect opportunity for all of you, because some of you are coming with designer skills, some of you with artistic skills, some of you with storytelling, and others do programming. So when you join together, not only do you help each other develop the perfect product, but you also learn from each other, and I think that's great. Barja, do you want to talk about how will the club be meeting? Like, are you planning to host Zoom sessions? Are there specific dates for that?
It will be right. I was very working on it in this week as well. But we will specify. We will have a specific day. Mostly, it's in per ICC rules. It will be on first day.
Is it
But
going to be
right
during
now,
the activity hour? The activity hour is 11:15 a.m. to 12:30.
I think I think so. There's a specification on it. We are also working on it
Okay.
while we register during some kind of registration.
Okay. Great.
So as far as I know, each week we will have a specific day. If as far as I know, it will be on first day,
Okay.
and during the day we will have a Zoom meeting because as you guys know, we're in a hard times in which we cannot. It is impossible for us to meet up online, and but it is normally we will have a specific classroom, and we will
Yes,
meet there, and
that is correct. They
after
used to
dividing
meet
into teams.
in the
Um, Professor, yeah,
okay, for some reason my
oh,
so they used to meet in the business building in a computerized classroom, and everybody would have their own computer and they can work on it.
yeah,
So Bart, do you want to move on with the slides?
of course. So that's all the slides. But before I end this slide, I would also try to showcase one of the games that we made. Is a club made. Um, I, I do believe I have a small footage of it. So let me just stop sharing my screen for a minute. And yep, I'm going to show you the clip that one of our all right, okay. So yep, this is one of the games that one of our teams have made basically. And that's yep, that's pretty much it. Yep. Yep, that would be it. This is the game that one of our club members have done. In fact, she is actually she's one of our club officers, and hopefully she will be with us soon.
Okay. And Bart, do you want to? So for that game, I don't know if you want to play it again. And while you play it, maybe you can talk about the characters that were created and what goes behind creating a character and what is the storyline and what is the programming that goes behind it, like maybe just briefly.
Oh, of course. So the for this mechanic, like I was trying to talk about, but it seems to be a small girl who is trapped in a house with some kind of creatures. It tries to dodge the creatures and obtain some bones, and when the character obtains all of the bones, the game ends basically. So for the game mechanic, it is it is kind of showing that you're in the bird eye perspective, and you for the game level design, you're in a small and decimated house. Basically, it's this sort of kind of looking like it is haunted. And as the game mechanics, the character is trying to move up and down, and this is the type of the stuff that you must put in. And uh, the enemy, in which case these red demons, they also tend to move around at their own pace. This is the stuff that you also need to program as well. And for as far as I know, for the game, the level designing, you the game maker allows you to place the like these small objects like statue or the yeah, these small bookshelves or the couch, and you basically can like take them as an object and place them in the level as well. In Unity, actually, it is much more in Unity, actually, it is much more different. It is basically freed in a depending on your perspective. You basically have your assets and you drag them down and place them in the space that you're creating your environment. And so there is a lot, like there's a lot of stuff to consider around, and they're also depending on your what the games that you're making. It is you need to also uh like code in such a way that you can it will you can decide what speed does the character move, or which button does the character attack. These are the stuff that you actually have to program it by yourself, so that the game or the program knows exactly what happens. And yeah, I was that's basically the whole concept of the game design.
All right, cool. Are there any questions from anyone viewing us right now?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Don't hesitate to like ask us question by
Yeah,
the
and
way.
I don't know if the audience, they can unmute themselves. So if you have questions, go to the discussion, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, and
Yeah.
type your question there. And I can hear some echo. Okay.
Also, I would like to mention this. This recording is going to be also in the smc.com/welcome. So if you want to take a look at this and the other clubs again, you guys can go there and rewatch it.
So it will be snc.edu/welcome, and that's where all the videos will be available. And I posted that in the discussion so everyone can see it.
Okay, that's
All
perfect.
right. So we are waiting for Eunice to join us. She was the person who actually she designed the characters that you see in this game. She did the graphical drawings of the characters. There are two questions. What program is used for the pixel art? And
how long does it usually take to make the games in the club? It actually depends on. First of all, I will answer the last question we got. It actually depends on how the designing, but mostly it will take more than 4 or 5 weeks to like make a decent game. Because it is most likely the planning that it is going to be important. Also, I would like to say I am we the due to the current situation we are having, it might take a little bit longer to communicate with each other and make a design a game. But despite all of this, I hope that by the end of the fall semester we will have at least one or two team that will complete a game. That's one of our that's one of the goals that I hope we can reach up.
Cool. And the second question, what program is used for the pixel art?
Honestly, I have little no knowledge about these pixel arts. Maybe when Junice comes, she can answer this question much better.
Yeah, because I think she was involved in that component. I think the beauty of using a tool, like Unity, is that the characters are there, and you can just make minor changes to them and just drag and drop. You just click it and then put it in the game, and then you have to just basically write the code for how the character reacts.
Exactly. Also, I would like to mention it. Most of these game engines have their own default assets, and the beauty of it is that you can use it whenever you like. And for example, I'm pretty sure that the walls and the objects that have been used in this game is actually from the Game Maker Studios itself. So, and you can also, I would like to mention this too. If you find, and as you will see, the Unity will also have a small kind of shop where you can buy assets, and if you would like to use one of those during our meetings, please let me or any officer first. This is one of the important things, because if we need to kind of have a small process to go through if you have to use those assets. And I hopefully in the first meeting we will have, I will talk about it in detail about this, but in most cases we will use free assets, or as assets, like the assets are available in the engine itself. So I hope that
answers the question.
I hope that kind of.
I don't know if there are other questions that maybe can be posted in the discussion. I think maybe I could share my screen and show the graphics that.
Of course. Before doing that, I would also say something as well. In order to join, you can for the joining our club, we also have a small newsletter. In there, we're going to post post you the exact dates and when we will be able to meet up. And I will also say that we have a small community in Discord, and which I'm going to post the link in the discussion very quickly. So if you have the Discord is basically a very useful application where we will be able to communicate with each other mostly. So if you're interested in our club and would like to join us, please make sure to join our Discord.
Okay.
I'm posting the link in the comments.
And if anybody wants to reach out to you, if they want to contact you for whatever, do they use the Discord, or what is your preferred method of communication?
Well, Discord is preferred, but also I'm going to also the email. Give myself my email I'm also very active in there, so you can post it, like you can email me whenever you have questions or concerns. And also, I'm going to write down the club's Gmail
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
that's perfect. So I would use the club's Gmail account. That way you stay anonymous.
I'm going to give my SMC
Okay.
email
Okay.
anyways.
Good.
And you guys can reach out to one of the each. Let me just type it in. And yes, like I said, if you have any concerns or any questions that you would like to ask, you guys can reach out to me using one of these emails.
Fantastic.
So,
okay.
So I'm going to leave it to Professor.
So I'm going to share my screen. I want to show. Chrome tab. Okay, I don't know if, is it sharing? Okay, there it is. So this is this is the one of the graphics that Eunice did. So this is the characters that she drew, and she worked with the other club members, and they went from this to the other one. I was hoping that she would be able to be here to share this with all of you and talk about the background of the work that she's done. But she did tell us that she works, and not sure about what her restrictions are and if she'll be able to join us by, I don't know, we have about 7-8 minutes. So that's that. This is another one of the sketches that she did. So with this is different from using Unity, because in Unity, the characters or the assets are there, and you just, do minor setups for them to make them, in different colors and, act differently. But in this case, this is someone coming up with a sketch, and the developers. So this is the designer's work, and then the developers would bring this into life, into the game. And I think there's one more sketch, and that is how the game looks like. So the characters here were all her idea. She did the sketch, and then the developers liked it, and then they decided to work with her to incorporate the characters in her in the game that they were all working on. All right, so I'm going to stop share.
If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. By the way.
Yeah, we have about 6 minutes.
Yes, so we can answer all your questions by the meantime. Yeah.
Okay, so there are 11 people viewing the session right now.
Yeah.
And Bartu, do you want to talk about any needs you have in the club for any officers to join you in any capacity?
Right now we have our officers ready, but we do need some members, and that's actually a good thing to bring up, Professor. So in order for us to constitute a club, we need 6 members, including me, the vice president, and the secretary. So we basically need 3 of you to basically give us our email. So please, if you really would like to join us, I please email me or with the emails that I gave it to you, so that we can actually start the registration process.
And I do want to mention that participating in a club as an administrator position, like, starting from the president, vice president, minute taker, anything you do is a great advantage for you to put on your resume, whether you are planning to transfer or whether you're planning to look for a job, because it shows sort of commitment on your part and like enthusiasm and passion for the field. Like you really love it and you wanted to, be part of a club and make the club work. So participating not just as a member, but as a member of the administration of the club will be a surely big asset for you. There's a question, Bartu. Do you want to take that?
What we'll be going over during the first days or weeks if we were to join the club. So I was thinking about maybe how we can use, maybe show you how to use the Unity, and maybe dividing you into the groups that I was talking about, so that you guys can start your own project. So there's one. Actually, there's one requirement that I ask you if you want to join the club, especially because of this hard times we are having. We will be mostly online, and try to communicate try to find a ways to communicate with each other. This is very important. This is a very important thing, because when the pandemic broke out, there was some kind of an issue with all of the clubs how to connect with each other. So the Discord is one of the ways that I was thinking it is a very good thing, because you can actually create some groups with each other, and you can even show your screen how I did in this booth. But you guys can also come up with each other to find a way to communicate with yourself.
So the link you posted about the Discord, would you be able to do a quick 1-minute demo of how that works so that they're familiar with it?
Of course. Let me just share my screen done. So after registration, if you have a Discord account, it is perfect. But if you don't have any Discord account, this is a very good thing to showcase. So we have only 2 minutes, so I will be very quick. So okay, so this is this is the server. This is our group that we have. So depending on the teams, I'm after dividing you into the groups, I will be able to showcase. I will be putting you in the small groups as a role, and you will be able, only the persons who is in that team you will be able to see the messages. And we will. There is also a certain way I can join this voice channel.
I'm not sure you shared the right window, because right now what you're sharing is the current broadcast that we're having. That's okay.
Oh, sure. Let me try to do it again.
You just need to pick the tab that you want to share. Yes.
Is it working now? Okay, so this is like I said, this is the server that we established. And after dividing you into the groups, I will put you you will have your own specific team channel in which you will be you and your teammates will be able to join in. And there is also some voice channels where you can talk with each other, and you can even share your screens, but due to the limited time, I won't be able to showcase it very quickly. So please make sure you joining using the link, and that's basically all there is to it. So we unfortunately ran out of time. So okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, and I hope that I will be able to see you guys in the upcoming weeks.
Thank you, Bartu, and thank you, everyone. And I hope I see a new game at the end of this fall. Okay.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
exactly. All right, bye-bye. See you. Okay, you're out, Professor.